Can one single tragic act instantly ignite a political movement, create a martyr, and maybe redefine a whole generation's fight for freedom?
That's not really a hypothetical question anymore, is it? Today, we're doing a deep dive into the seismic events after the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Specifically, that truly monumental memorial service.
Yeah.
It almost instantly became a turning point, it seems, for the modern conservative movement.
Forcing a strategic shift.
Yeah, towards youth activism, faith, and even the very nature of political debate in America.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The news hook here is just unavoidable, and the scale of the reaction is, well, it's pretty unprecedented.
Absolutely. So September 10th, Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, founder of Turning Point USA. He was fatally shot at a university event.
And a suspect, 22 years old, has been charged with aggravated murder.
Then, just 11 days later, you have this incredible scene, tens of thousands of mourners, many traveling huge distances, gathered at State Farm Stadium in Arizona.
That's a huge venue, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
63,000 seats.
Exactly, and it was apparently at capacity. Plus, overflow crowds nearby, pushing the total expected attendance well over 100,000 people.
Wow.
Look, this wasn't just a funeral. It felt much more like a political convention, maybe, disguised as a memorial.
And the political heavyweights were there to match the crowd size. President Donald Trump gave the final speech.
He did. And he immediately called Kirk a great American hero and a martyr for American freedom.
Strong words. Vice President J.D. Vance was there too, right? And other senior officials.
Yeah, Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Pete Hegseth. The list goes on. The full weight of the current administration was there.
And Trump explicitly credited Kirk's youth mobilization, Charlie's Army, he called it, with playing a pivotal role in his 2024 election victory.
That's right. So you could see this as significant political capital being, well, acknowledged or paid back.
What really jumps out at me, though, looking through the source material, is the security level needed for a memorial service. It was designated Tier 1. That's the highest level, isn't it? Like what they use for the Super Bowl.
That's exactly right. Mirroring Super Bowl planning. The Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, they were actively tracking threats.
That fact alone says so much.
It really does. When a debate rally, and then the memorial for the person killed at that rally, needs that kind of security, it just underscores the extreme, high stakes, and frankly dangerous environment we're talking about.
And this leads us straight into the first big theme, doesn't it? The immediate reframing of Kirk's death.
Yes. The martyrdom narrative.
Yeah.
It wasn't just presented as a tragedy, but as an attack on the country.
President Trump's words again, Kirk is now immortal, and his assassination was not just an attack on one man or one movement, but an attack on our entire nation. That's an immediate elevation.
Instant iconic status. And it had a very strong spiritual dimension, too. We saw multiple leaders like VP Vance and Pete Hegseth describing Kirk explicitly as a Christian martyr, a warrior for Christ.
That's a really crucial strategic choice, framing it that way.
It absolutely is. It reframes the whole conflict. It's not just about policy disagreements anymore. It's presented as a kind of spiritual war for America's soul.
That is, incredibly potent language. But doesn't framing it in those terms risk, polarizing things even further, making political compromise almost impossible?
Well, the sources suggest that for the people involved, for the attendees, that risk seems worth taking. The immediate goal wasn't compromise. It was mobilization and accountability.
Right. Trump was very forceful on that. He declared the assassin should get the full and ultimate punishment.
And Utah prosecutors are, in fact, seeking the death penalty for the suspect who's been charged.
Accountability didn't stop there either. The Department of Justice announced an investigation into potential networks of radical left maniacs who fund, organize, and perpetrate attacks like this.
So the message is pretty clear. Political violence will face the absolute harshest response, legally and institutionally.
And alongside that push for justice, there was the symbolic honor. President Trump announced plans to posthumously award Charlie Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah, a White House ceremony planned. That kind of official recognition closes the chapter on the immediate tragic reaction. It allows the movement to pivot, to focus on the legacy Kirk built in just 31 years.
Okay, let's unpack that legacy, because he really was an institution builder, wasn't he? And operating at an incredible speed. What did he actually achieve?
Well, he was definitely a digital age pioneer. He figured out how to build a massive grassroots operation using social media, college campuses.
Turning Point USA.
Right. His organization, TPUSA, reportedly commands a political empire valued around $95 million. And personally, he had over 5 million social media followers. He was, arguably the single most influential conservative voice reaching Gen Z.
And the irony is just heartbreaking, isn't it? His whole mission was centered on free speech and debate.
Exactly. He was killed while speaking on a college campus, sitting under this huge sign that just said, "Prove me wrong," challenging students to debate.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard talked about that mission, didn't she?
She did, quite eloquently. Called him a warrior for truth and freedom, fighting for inalienable rights endowed upon every one of us by our Creator. She stressed that he entered the arena using debate and ideas, not violence.
And Marco Rubio pointed out something specific, too, about Kirk's impact on young men, saying it was deeper than politics.
Yeah, that he gave them a sense of purpose, maybe a direction they felt was missing elsewhere.
And that impact is already being sort of formalized, institutionalized.
It is. Hillsdale College, where Kirk apparently took dozens of online courses, announced honorary degrees for both Charlie and his wife, Erica, and a scholarship fund for their 2 young kids.
But the most powerful symbol might be the one coming from the new College of Florida.
Ah, the statue.
Yeah.
Right. They're commissioning a bronze statue of Kirk at a table, debating, but with 2 chairs left open.
It's meant as this prominent symbol of civil discourse. Like there's always room for a challenger, for the best idea to win out.
That image, the open chairs, it's very potent. But maybe the biggest development right now, coming out of that memorial, is the emergence of his widow, Erica Kirk.
She stepped up immediately, didn't she?
With remarkable strength, yeah. She took over right away as the new CEO and chair of Turning Point USA.
And her appearance at the memorial, it wasn't about grief alone. It felt like a declaration, a battle cry, as she put it.
She vowed the evildoers responsible have no idea the fire that you have ignited. Real resolve there.
And this transition, it's not just about keeping things going, is it? There's a strategic pivot here, too.
Absolutely. And it's quite significant. Despite her own grief, she publicly forgave the assassin, citing her Christian faith, saying it was what Charlie would do.
Which firmly places her leadership within that spiritual narrative we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And her leadership is crucial because TPUSA knows it has a big demographic challenge: the youth gender gap.
Right. We've seen young men moving more to the right, supporting Trump in strong numbers in 2024. But young women, they still lean heavily Democratic. Almost 2/3 supported Harris, according to the sources.
Yeah, that gap is a major political problem they need to solve. And TPUSA's COO, Tyler Boyer, basically spelled out the strategy. He said, Charlie Kirk came and converted the young men. Erica Kirk is coming to convert the young women.
Wow, that's pretty direct framing.
Very direct.
So how does her personal message, her leadership style, translate into attracting young women?
Well, it seems to be a very targeted approach. Her message focuses heavily on things like marriage, family, challenging the idea that women have to do all of the things, as she put it.
Kind of pushing back against certain modern feminist ideals.
That seems to be the core of it. It's a narrative that apparently resonates strongly with young conservative women, the ones attending these events. They're looking for something that affirms more traditional roles and values, maybe as an alternative to what they perceive as the pressures of progressive culture.
So it's about making conservatism appealing as a lifestyle choice, not just policy points.
Precisely. It's a pivot designed to ensure the movement's longevity by targeting a demographic they absolutely need to win over.
Okay, before we wrap up, we should probably touch on the media ecosystem Kirk was so central to. Understanding that is key to understanding his reach, right?
Definitely. And our source material, some analysis from Reddit actually, sheds light on why that right-wing digital sphere is apparently so effective.
What's the takeaway there?
It's that it dominates by blending politics with entertainment. Things like fitness, gaming, sports, all presented in a relatable way. They've built this ecosystem of conservative content creators.
So they reach audiences who aren't necessarily looking for purely political stuff first.
Exactly. It's about building coalitions around, common grievances, identity, focusing on simple moral and identity-based messaging instead of, say, complex policy papers. That's how you grab Gen Z's attention.
But despite that sophisticated media machine, the official political reaction back in Washington really highlighted the polarization, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you had bipartisan condemnation of the violence itself from former presidents, congressional leaders, both sides. That was there.
But then the House resolution to actually honor Kirk's life, That was incredibly divisive.
It really was. 58 Democrats voted against it, another 38 wanted present.
And the sources mention Representative Ilhan Omar calling Kirk reprehensible and hateful, even reposting a video that joked about his death.
Yeah, that drew condemnation from others. It just shows the huge chasm this movement faces. It's not just political resistance, it's outright enmity from some quarters.
Trump called out that reaction too, didn't he? Condemning the sick approval, excuses, or even jubilation from some commentators.
He did. He contrasted people mourning a suspended late-night TV show with, in his view, celebrating the murder of a father of two. It really highlights that profound disconnect, that lack of shared reality sometimes in American public life today.
Okay, so let's try to bring this all together. What's the central question this huge event forces us, and you the listener, to confront?
Well, the message from the memorial was crystal clear. The new TPUSA merchandise says it all. Never surrender.
And TPUSA's faith director, Lucas Miles, is already talking about seeing a mass revival of Christianity directly linked to the memorial's impact.
So you have Charlie Kirk killed while basically living out his belief that you can change minds through argument, sitting under that prove me wrong sign.
So if you now need Super Bowl levels of security just to hold a public debate on campus, does his martyrdom mean the political arena is just about conflict and violence now?
Or does the sheer scale of that rally in Arizona, the unity, the faith that was on display, does that prove that ultimately courage and free speech are forces that can't be beaten?
Yeah.
That's the question, I think.